show. I've got 3 Darwin Awards I'm gonna read. They're hilarious.
All right, go for it.
You come up with the craziest stuff.
Oh, I
Hey,
find the best stuff here. Yeah.
Deb, you sent me your bio on Facebook, didn't you?
Like a long time ago. I don't remember. I don't remember. I mean, it wasn't for this show. I think I tried to send to you for the last show I was on.
Right.
What are you
What?
laughing at?
He's reading his
I'm reading.
Darwin thing.
I'm reading one of my Darwin Awards, and it cracks me up. Y'all gonna bust out laughing when I read it to you.
Okay.
I got 3 of them that are just classic. Just
The following program is intended for a mature listening audience. Graphic and explicit language may be heard at times. The views expressed and opinions given by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily express those of this station or sponsors. Listeners are advised that neither the station nor owners and agents will be held liable for the content of this program. Rebroadcast, redistributed, or reused without the express written permission without the host or producer is not allowed. You are listening to Family Spirit International.
Hey, Blaine. Blaine. Are you frozen? There he is.
no, I'm here. It took
There
a
you
minute,
are.
but
It did, yeah.
another great Monday night, and I got 3 good ones for y'all tonight. Darwin Awards. I cracked up. Wait till y'all hear
Great.
this one. I'll go ahead and read this one off. Okay, I took the bus home. It was a 45-minute ride. When I got home, I thought my car was stolen for a second until I realized I had, in fact, driven to work. The sad thing is that I've done this more than once.
Oh,
How do you do that more than once? Okay, this.
no. Oh,
Okay,
Lord.
this other one. I took a quick break at work and went to get a soda. My brain went into autopilot and I drove home. Walked in, took off my work shirt, plopped on the couch, turned the TV on, and wondered where my girlfriend was because she usually got home before I work. That's when I looked up the clock. I realized I had 3 hours left on shift. Okay, how do you not get fired for that?
Yeah. Okay. So, I like to tell you ghost jokes. Are you finished with them or you have some more?
I got one more.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay, one more. Up until my freshman year of college, I thought that red and green, when mixed, was what made purple. Boy, did I feel like the dumbass when I discovered the truth in my chemistry class by arguing with the textbook, a chemist in a classroom full of people. Oh, God.
Darwin
Whew.
Awards.
Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
What do ghosts do at sleepovers?
I do not know what do ghosts do at sleepovers.
They tell scary human stories.
Love it.
Uh,
Love it.
what do ghosts eat with their meatballs?
Love it.
What do they eat with? What do
Spaghetti?
ghosts eat? Spaghetti. Yes.
That's what I said. Spaghetti.
We've got a fun show tonight. We've got a fun
Yes.
show. Nothing scary. A lot of things very illuminating, I think you'd say. We've got our very good friend Deb Lance back on the show. Hey, Deb.
Hi, Deb.
For those of you watching, Deb is a really great friend. She's been seen on a lot of paranormal shows, including several episodes of A Haunting. She's been on Ghost Detectives, Haunted Stories, and a few smaller local shows. And she and her family were featured on The Ghost Inside My Child. So that's Deb. She's a beautiful psychic medium. Oh, she can't hear anything. Let's see.
No, she can't hear anything, and I can't hear her.
Okay, let's see if we can. Not sure why. We don't know why.
Looks like
Okay,
somehow her mics
I'm gonna
are
mute her
still
mic and
muted.
unmute it.
Okay.
Did that help? No. Can you hear now?
I don't think she can,
Something's
Lee.
up.
No, still nothing.
And now I can hear you.
There we
There we
go.
go. She muted herself.
No.
I like that.
Hey,
No, I didn't mute myself. I haven't touched anything.
Oh.
It was weird. I just took my earbud out, put it back in, and I could hear. Voila.
Oh, that's so crazy.
I know. Just welcome to our show because weird stuff happens. Now you got 3 mediums on the show at the same time, so no
And
telling
we
what's
don't
going
know
to happen.
what's next.
Yes,
So we have
electrical stuff always
Chris
goes
record
cuckoo.
everything up. I'm telling you. I am telling you. Especially around me and Lee and you, I've noticed everything goes wonky. Like if we're in an investigation, I can't touch somebody else's equipment because it messes it up.
Right. Or you fry it. Like you fry it, touch
Oh,
it.
I've done that before. I've fried a couple of K2s. I've fried a couple of millimeters and let's see, an SLS camera. So I don't touch somebody's stuff.
Yeah.
I try not to handle it because
Yeah.
it's too distracting for me when I'm trying to, tune into spirits there to have to operate something. I just can't do it. So, and besides, I will just turn it off by accident or something stupid. So,
Yeah.
Wait. So, I'm gonna add Christopher. Christopher, here I come. There we are. Hey, Christopher. So, what did you guys? What are you cooking, or what are you planning on eating tonight? Today's Labor Day.
Me, probably after show, hot dogs.
That's a great idea. I love that. How about you, Deb? What are you planning on for your family, for you and your
well, we already ate, and I made homemade pulled pork barbecue, some mac and
hubby?
cheese, and some kale salad, and it was delish.
Ooh, that sounds great. Blaine, what is going on with you?
We had leftover roast beef and taters and carrots. It was good.
I'm sure it was good. The day after you make something like that, it's all, especially like lasagna or something like that. It's always so much better.
I don't know why that is. It's like it's same with like pasta salads. The day you make it, it's not the day to eat it. It's the next day.
No.
It's like everything can absorb it.
And that's exactly what happens. It absorbs all the flavors together. And I do got to say one quick thing before going. I want to wish my wife Jennifer a happy 22nd anniversary tomorrow.
Oh,
so I told her I'd say it on the show. So, okay, I'm good.
22 years. That's fantastic. David Hembry said barbecue chicken and rice pasta. That does sound good. And then Linda Judd, she's talking about enjoying her Italian sausage on a French roll. Oh, man, that sounds good. So Matthew got the smoker going, and he smoked, I guess it was 3 big things of ribs. And they're like falling off the bone, and he does an injection. He does injections, and he also sprays it with honey Jack Daniels.
Oh, goodness.
Wow. Hey,
he-
speaking of Jack Daniels, you guys should hit Tennessee sometime because we are the Jack Daniels capital.
Yes.
Yes, you are.
And
Yes, you
Right, Nick?
are.
the tour is phenomenal. It's like no other tour you've ever been
Yeah.
on as far as distilleries go because it's such a
Yep.
huge campus. I'm talking
Yep.
campus. You have to take a
Yep.
bus to see it all.
Oh
It
my
is
gosh.
it is phenomenal, but it's
That's
very
new.
impressive.
Where
Yeah.
in Tennessee?
Lynchburg.
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 Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah,
Of
Deb, I've
course.
probably been there like 20 times, and we never had a bus. I'm jealous. We had
Oh
to
yeah,
walk
you have to
everywhere.
take a bus. That you couldn't walk everywhere. That'd be an all-day hike.
Oh,
Because it's
skip
Could you
that.
still, is it still, Deb, is it still in the dry county?
yes, yes. But they get around that issue. I
Oh,
forget how it goes. It's either like you have to pour your own booze or they pour it for you. I think you pour it yourself. I don't
yeah.
remember, but you can taste it and you can drink, but there's a technicality you have to like tiptoe around. And the whole
Mm,
town of Lynchburg, which is not a big town, it's a very small community, but it's a very typical small town America with a square in the center and the state capitol, not the state capitol,
mhm.
the courthouse there, and everything's around this square. Literally everything in this town is based around Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels flavored ice cream,
Yeah.
Jack Daniels
Oh,
flavored
Hmm.
fudge. They have their own barbecue sauce. I mean, it's everything
Yep.
Jack Daniels.
well, we do it
The
ourselves,
barbecue
but
sauce is good.
yes, it is.
Yes, it
It's very
is.
good. Anna says, Anna Cooper, Brandon's wife, she said that they had a baked marinated chicken with sauteed mushrooms. I can tell you, Brandon, sauteed mushrooms are awesome. Peeled
No.
peas and snaps tossed with a tossed salad. Thanks to Brandon and Linda saying, "Oh, sounds like a multitasker. Wonderful menu." Everybody is enjoying the day off.
yes.
I'm so glad I have the day off. I've worked. I bet you I've worked probably close to 37 hours in 4 days.
Wow.
Maybe 3 days. Yeah, I think it is closer to 3 days. So I've been really looking forward to having you on the show.
Good. I've been looking forward to being on a show. We had so much fun last time. Like, I
Yeah, we
learned
did.
so much. And I sent Blaine a private message today on Facebook thanking him for suggesting I try naturally, locally sourced honey for my
Hmm.
allergies because last time I was
Yes.
on the show, I was too embarrassed to have myself on camera because I was a big snot mess because of
Yeah.
my allergies.
Oh, yeah.
I since I started taking, I take like a teaspoon that I put in my coffee or my tea every morning. I have not. This is no lie, hand to God, I haven't sneezed in 3 weeks. And right
That is
now,
awesome.
the fall allergy time is usually my worst. And I haven't taken any Claritin or anything because it really wasn't working last time. But
Really?
seriously, this honey suggestion is the bomb. I love it.
Thank you.
So
I
thank
actually,
you.
Yeah.
I actually stole that from my grandmother, but hey, I'm gonna say it's mine.
Well, I got it from you, so
Yeah. Well, she has passed now, so I guess it
Well,
is mine.
it is yours. That's right. It was bequeathed to
Yeah.
you. Anna Cooper is in healthcare, so she said she's not off, but she's also saying something interesting that goldenrod tincture is really good too.
hmm.
So if you see something like that around you, add that to your local honey regimen, and I bet you'll have something right. I bought
Well,
some
that sounds
goldenrod
good.
tincture. I bought some last year at Christmas, and it got us through the winter, no doubt.
Really?
Hmm.
Wow. That's a pretty
It's good
strong
stuff.
testimony. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. So, we got psychic kids, you and
Yes, we
me.
Yes.
do.
Hmm.
Yep, and Blaine has it as well, and it's going on second generation for him. So, I thought we should get together and talk about this. I mean,
Yeah.
Blaine and I wrote a book about that. Sorry, I'm wiggling. So my grandbabies are in the living room, so I had to hide away in here, and I'm just sliding down. I'm just steady sliding. So, so how did all of it start for you? Because you and I both had a child that had memories of another life, and as a
Right.
toddler, talking about it to us, and so we're having to figure out what the heck.
Exactly. Well, because of me and my crazy brain and how it works, I never wanted my kids to go through what I went through growing up. So I was kind of in denial for years that, my kids had this ability, but they both have inherited segments of my abilities, but differently. My son's more clairsentient, and my daughter's more clairvoyant. She
Yeah.
is an artist.
Oh,
Her major was art, so she sees things very clearly, vividly, and in color. Well, Nick just
Hmm.
has the capacity of just knowing, like
Yeah.
he just knows things as a fact. And that's really how it comes to me. Like if I get hit with information for someone, it comes across so strongly, it feels factual to me. And
Yeah.
sometimes they'll spurt something out like, oh, well, so and so has pneumonia. What? They don't have pneumonia. Yeah, they do. I mean, it's factual. And I think, wait, I
Yeah.
don't know if they have pneumonia. It just comes out like factual. So
Yep.
I understand that.
Too
I
well.
it's just
understand that.
weird. One time we were on vacation and we were sitting at a table outside in this restaurant, and an older gentleman, an older lady got up from their table, which is a little bit farther from us, and he starts walking. He takes a misstep, and he grabs the back of his chair and said, "Oh my God, that man's going to have a stroke." And he fell down. His wife said, "Someone call 911. My husband's having a stroke." It just comes out factual.
Yeah. Well.
Christopher's back. So, Anna is saying there's some people asking some things about honey. For isn't honey better than sugar for diabetes? And Anna's saying that honey can still ping your sugar.
Yeah, I think
And
it
monk
can.
fruit granules. Stevia or monk fruit granules are safe plant alternatives. She's not a doc, but being a nurse 24 years is what she's referring back
Right.
to. And I have not tried monk fruit, but we do
Nope.
stevia around here. And I like it. I like stevia. I like the taste of stevia, and I can tell a difference. I'm
Yeah, I
trying
think
just to go without sugar, period, but that ain't gonna happen.
it's so hard. I have such a huge sweet tooth, but I've
Hey,
used stevia too. It's a pretty good substitute.
shoot, I got sweet tea and honey in my tea, so I'm double sugar in mine.
Uh-oh.
Oh, that's right. That's all
My
right.
wife always says, "You're gonna get diabetes." I've been tested. Nope, I don't have the gene for it. So
That's
Good for
nobody in
great.
my
you.
whole family's ever had it. So
My
That's
most
Yeah,
dad,
awesome.
mine has dextrose and mannose and both, and it can bring your sugar up, but not very much. Not like uh, not like table sugar though.
oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
she's
glad that there's
right.
something else. I'm glad there's something else out there as an alternative then. So,
Monk
how
fruit
old?
is
I'm
pretty
sorry,
good
go
for
ahead.
you though.
Is it?
Yeah, it has
Oh,
almost has a very low glycemic index.
okay. Anna's saying monk fruit is a personal preference. Stevia has a bitter aftertaste for her, but not everyone experiences that. And okay, so a lot of we're having an healthy diet conversation in our
Yeah,
chat. It's
with
so cool.
stevia, you should
Yeah.
mix it with something else if you don't want the taste.
Postmenopausal uh, stress and sugar is bad postmenopausal, but really need that sweetness. Linda, I feel you. I feel you. I feel you.
So do I.
Oh Lord. Yeah. So how did these memories come out of your son's? How did he communicate them
Oh,
to you?
well, part of my process of just helping my kids handle being in school and the stress of school, I would just ask them every day after school, how was your day? Typical mom stuff. And sometimes they answer me, sometimes they wouldn't. But first thing in the morning, I would ask them, hey, did you have any dreams last night? Because I feel dreams are important. Dreams are often connected to they are your subconscious trying to work things out from the day before or some hidden issue. But I feel it's important to talk about your dreams. And one morning when Nick was 12, he was in sixth grade, and I he's having a cereal breakfast before school. I said, "Hey, do you have any dreams this night?" And he took a long pause. He said, "Mom, I had a really wild dream." So he goes into detail about this dream, and he's telling me if like he could smell things, taste things. It was very
Wow.
texture, like he felt things with his fingers. And he's like, he smelled horse flesh. He smelled campfire smoke.
Yes.
He had stress. He felt stress from the dream. I said, "Well,
Mm-hmm.
that sounds like more than a dream to me." He goes, "Yeah, I know. It's really wild." And the key thing from this dream is he said, "Yeah, I was trying to get to this town in Indiana called, now it just escaped my brain, but it was a town that doesn't exist today." So I said, "I've never heard of it." He's like, "Neither have I." So we let it go, and he went to school. And then something told me just to look it up on the internet, and I did, and there wasn't anything. There is no town in Indiana named this. But then all of a sudden it clicked in my brain, like what he was describing sounded like Civil War time.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw himself in a gray uniform, on a horse, on a secret mission, had to get back to his buddies in Indiana. And so I typed the name of the town, and I just threw in the date 1864 when the Civil War actually ended. And that town did exist.
Oh,
So
wow.
from that point on, I knew like this is definitely more than a dream. I need to investigate this some more. So basically, from that dream on, it was a year of discovery for Nick. And I bought him some meditation CDs. I made my own meditation CD for him. And through meditation, he just kept pulling out more and more information. And then one summer I said, "Hey, bud, let's just go and visit some of these places." And we did. And guess what? We live here now. So,
Oh,
you know,
wow.
it's
Oh,
kind of
wow.
life kind of does come full circle for us. So,
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
it
well, you
does.
know what's funny? You know what's funny, Deb, is I've had those same type of dreams since I was a little child, and they
Mm-hmm.
are so vivid. Like you said, you can taste it, all your senses
Yes.
are there. But
Yes.
it's weird for me because my other sense of being an empath medium works in those dreams as well. So I'm like supercharged when I have dreams. The
Right.
taste and the smells of like battlefields. You can smell the gunpowder. You can smell the
Right.
sweat,
Right.
the blood, and the guts,
Right.
and all that fun stuff.
I get crazy dreams also.
Yes, you do. And we've had them. We've had simultaneous dreams where I dreamt I was in with him and we were in this place, and we actually were we on the radio when we finally decided to talk about it? I think we were. We were on a radio
Yeah,
show together, and I said, "Where did you go when you left the room?" And he could tell me, and it was crazy. It was just really crazy that we found each other in a dream state and had this dream
That's
together.
wild. That's wild. I've only had that experience once when I was on an investigation. This was years ago. I think Nick was still in high school, and it was actually at the serial killer's house in Indiana, which was a terrifying investigation. But
Ooh.
I had a dream, and another psychic had the same dream on the same night. And we didn't realize it till a couple days later. I just said, "Hey, I just want to share with everyone this dream I had." He goes, "Oh my God, Deb, I was in that dream too." He goes, "I dreamt about the same thing." So it's wild how
Wow.
that happens, but
Yeah.
it's like you're connecting with someone on a different level. I don't know how that
Exactly.
works, but
Yeah, I
It's
was watching something on television. Blaine, I don't know if you remember this or not, is when you and I, this has been several years ago, we were both in the Dominion Ministries in the chat. And
mhm.
all of a sudden, I had this feeling like some explosion had happened. I mean, I was just like, whoa, like that. And I said, oh my God, I just heard an explosion at like a building. And Athena Balchin, yeah, was in the group and she was watching Criminal Minds. And at that moment, there was an explosion on the television.
that's
And we
wild.
were
Yeah.
all in the chat together, and so I experienced the explosion when it happened, and what I described that I saw was what she was watching.
This all kind of goes back to the guest you had on your show, I think last week or the week before, Mike Ricksecker, on his
Yeah.
Yes.
book. Oh my, I just completed that book, and I took my time with it because the concepts are so out of the norm, out of the box, that
Yep.
I didn't want to forget I'm a speed reader and I can whip through like a 500-page book in a day. So I really wanted to process everything he wrote. So I held myself to no more than 3 chapters a day. And even then, I had to go back and reread some. But it kind of goes back to what one of his chapters, I think it was chapter 7 on dreaming, and how when we dream, our frequencies are different than when we're awake. And when our
Mm-hmm.
frequencies match up, we can connect with people in spirit form. So
Yep.
I like you met with your ghost there in spirit form. I feel that really happens. I mean, it's not just random things. It's not a typical dream where you're working out. Why did I not get my tricycle when I was 3? And this
Yeah.
is a different level of dreaming.
Yeah. Well, I
Big
was
time.
just laying in the bed, and I think I might have been reading a book, and she was, watching TV and talking to, the circle of
Wow.
friends. And right when the thing exploded, because she said she was all engrossed in it, in the show. And right then was when the building exploded. It was several floors, and the windows
Wow.
blew out when it happened. Yeah, and it was the instant that that happened. She said, "I'm watching Criminal Minds on TV, and this is what just happened." It's like, wow, it
That's
made me feel so
that's
great.
yeah, it's just how it has to do with your frequencies. And like you said, you're in bed reading. Well, your frequency is vibrating different than when you're all keyed up at work
Right.
and it's
So it was
stressful.
like a
It's you
like a
got had a
meditative
mind.
state. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Well, when my kids started displaying their abilities, going back to that, my daughter had a dream. I don't remember how old she was. She's in elementary school, maybe first or second grade. But do you all remember that tsunami that hit that completely wiped out an entire country? Um,
Yeah.
there was a movie made about it. I can't think of the name of the movie. It's streaming now, but I mean, people are on vacation, all of a sudden see this huge wave hit, and they're underwater. Lots of people were killed. Lots of homes and buildings were destroyed. But anyway, 2 nights before that tsunami hit, my daughter had a dream, and I asked her at breakfast, like, "So did you guys have any dreams last night?" And she said, "Mom, I dreamt like people were underwater swimming, and but there was like floating people." And there's like houses and buildings underwater. It really scared me. I said,
Oh
"Oh,
my gosh.
so I mean, she has the ability. She has some precognitive type dreams once in a while
Yeah.
that, and again, right before 9/11, she was really that week before that happened. She was couldn't sleep. She was wound up all week. I think she was like let's see, Nick was in 7, so she was 3. So
Yeah.
she was in preschool, and she just couldn't calm down the entire week. So I feel like we were able to pick up on what's happening globally. Some of us are more talented at that. Like I don't have that ability as much as she does, but she really can tune into what's happening on a global level for whatever reason. So I don't know
Um,
if any of your kids do that, but it's kind of
yes,
creepy.
my daughter does it. I was pregnant with my son. He does it. I was pregnant with my son, and I watched. I thought it was a cake with 2 birthday candles on it. And as I got closer to it and closer to it, like I was going to blow it out, I could hear screaming. And I continued to get closer, and then I saw fleas jumping off the candles. And I looked
uh,
closer, and there were people, and it was 9/11. And so, the whole thing, there's a lot of things that happened with it, with the dream that ended up being parallel to what happened. But, that was the last time I had something quite that vivid.
hmm
After I gave birth to Elijah, they slowly stopped. I think that that
right,
was his
Elijah was helping
ability.
you. Now,
right.
now,
That's
now,
good, Robin.
now me, about 4 days before 9/11 hit, me and Jennifer just literally got married September 5th. And it happened September 11th. So she just left to go home, and I went to sleep, and I had the most vivid dream about it. There were 4 aircraft, that 2 were going to hit buildings, 1 was going to land in the field, and the other one never got to take off because they stopped all flight. So they actually stopped one of the terrorist flights that they
I
don't tell
didn't
you
know
about.
that. I
Yeah,
didn't know that. Wow.
I
yep.
didn't either.
And I got the full visual, the smell, the fear of people, the smoke smell, the dust and debris smell. It was very disheartening. And then when it happened on the 11th, I think I dreamt this like on the 8th or 9th. When it happened on the 11th, it was like, holy shit. I
Yeah.
just saw that happen in my dreams. It's like it was almost like I was watching it verbatim. I mean, word for word, scene for scene, everything like it showed on TV.
Doesn't that kind of drive you guys a little crazy? Like, my daughter was so worried about it, seeing this tsunami thing. But from her perspective as a child, she just saw people underwater and buildings, and what
Sure.
bothered her, didn't know how to prevent it. And I said, "Honey, I don't know." She didn't know where in the country it was going to happen. Does that kind of bother you
No,
guys, like when you have this precognitive
Yeah.
visions of some
it,
horrible event, and you're like, "Wait, I need to help you, but how do I do it?" So.
it
That
does in a way for me, but I've learned how
tears
to
me up.
embrace it.
It tears
Yeah,
me up
it
too.
does. It really. I mean, because we're all very emotional creatures anyway, but we're empaths
Right.
and mediums, so it's like twice, 10 times harder on us. It's like me.
Yes.
I All I could think about was the people and their families.
Right.
I mean, watch them see what they had to go through, and I did the same thing when I put dead soldiers on airplanes over in Iraq and Afghanistan and them home to their families. I would see their families mourning. I'd see them crying and families broken up because of that. That's a
Yeah.
little rough. It was a lot rough, but
Yeah.
I learned it's like okay, you can feel the empathy for them because you are an empath, but you got to start sending them those families all the healing you can send them, any
Right.
positive energy you can send them, because it's
Yeah.
devastating for people.
Absolutely. Well, death is part of life, but when it
Sure.
comes out of nowhere, a complete surprise, it's a real gut punch. And if
Yeah.
you've ever gone through that in your life, I'm not talking about an elderly parent or aunt or uncle. I'm talking about the death of someone your own age or a child. It's so traumatic, it just really never leaves you, that
Yeah.
trauma.
Hmm.
So when it's on a global scale, holy cow, you can't help but just feel that devastation. As you said, Blaine, like being mediums and empaths, it hits us really hard.
It does.
Yeah.
I had I had feelings very similar to dreams, but they would hit me when I was awake, and it was with Jessica Lynch, the
Oh,
female
the poor
soldier
girl.
that was abducted. I felt my ankles were on fire, and I'd never broken a bone at that point, so I didn't know that the fire in my bones was actually them being broken.
Oh,
Yeah, and in my ankles, and there's just a lot of things that I experienced. I felt like my back was broken at one point in one spot on the
Hmm.
left, next to the my low back. There's just a lot of things that I experienced, and I've always wanted to tell her because I
yeah.
felt like I was connected with her, like a soul tie with her as she was going through
Yeah.
that. I was so happy when she was free.
Oh my gosh,
Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
yes.
yeah. And Brandon did a show with her. Our producer, Brandon Cooper, did a show with her. And I got to say, that is the strongest human being I've ever seen in my life. For what she had to put up with and what she withstood. And just psychologically, how do you ever get rid of that? Because you cannot stop thinking about that. But she
I don't
is doing
know.
so well with it. It's like,
I was gonna ask you, does anyone know where she is today or what's going on
yeah,
with her in her life?
yeah. Like I said, Brandon just had her on his show 2 or 3 months ago, and it's still, I think it's still on the playlist. Go to Shaman Sundays and watch his episode with her.
Okay.
Yeah, she has the utmost courage I've ever seen in a human being, male, female. I have nothing but respect for that young lady. The endurance she had to go through would have broke a lot of men,
Yeah.
hardcore men,
I
and
don't
myself
understand.
included.
I don't know exactly what happened. I remember feeling something on my thigh, and I never could
Well,
understand that. I've never looked up what really happened with her. I just had my experience with her, and when she was safe, I was able to get some
yeah,
sleep finally. Anyway,
yeah,
one day I
yeah.
guess I'll
That
try to
that
speak to her.
yeah, that young lady went to endured so much different stuff because she was a female. So you know
Yeah,
everything that
yeah,
could happen to her happened to her. physically, mentally, psychologically, that they broke a lot of stuff on her, including her leg, including her back. I think Brandon said she had at least over 30 surgeries to
My
correct
God.
all the. And the only good thing I saw in the whole thing is the ones that did the torture of them. I know for a fact that we dropped two 500-pounders on top of them, so we got a little payback.
That's absolutely
Good.
horrific. That's
It
horrific what
is.
happened to her. But unfortunately, that's not an isolated case.
No,
I mean, that
no,
happens
what?
all around our planet. We just don't know about it.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
nobody
you're right.
actually wants to use the Geneva Convention where we treat, because I know all the Iraqi and Afghan soldiers that we captured, they were treated well, they were fed well, they saw medical attention right away. Um, no, we didn't torture none of them. And when we started to leave Afghanistan and Iraq, they started letting them go back to their homes, but they were treated very well, not like we were treated by them.
Right. Yep. It's a sad state of affairs, but it is what it is.
Yeah. I know people ask me, are you ever scared of ghosts? I'm like, no, people scare me a whole lot more.
Oh, I'm with
I
you on
can
that
I
100%.
can deal on a spirit level
100%.
because that is an energy level. But
Right.
like some of these people, like the serial killers and people with just sadistic, like killing to them doesn't mean nothing to them. It's like eating a bowl of cereal and hey, I'm done. Let's go.
Right.
I know a lot of serial killers after they killed somebody will go and get something out of the refrigerator and make them a sandwich, get something to eat. If they got leftovers, they'll take the leftovers with them and eat later. I'm like, okay, you just killed somebody, you stabbed somebody 79 times, and you're gonna go make you a ham sandwich. Okay.
Yeah, they'll just step right over them and go do what they want to do. They're just very selfish people. I mean,
Hmm.
everything about them is about themselves.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know, I feel like I've been watching Dr. Stephen Greer, who, for those of you watching, I don't know if you may know who he is, but basically, he's at the heart of most all of the alien type of studies.
Oh yeah.
He's been a
I know
part
him.
of so many things, so I don't know if our watching our viewership knows, but one of the things that Dr. Greer has been talking about is that he was he experienced and he had a near death experience. There, I said it right now. I was trying to stumble around.
It's tongue
Yes,
tied.
yes. And he has a program called CE5. Thank you, Carol. You're
Yep.
absolutely right. And so, what he talks about is once you've died, once you've died, you realize there is no death. And so, therefore, it has no power over you.
Yep.
And, pain is what's terrifying because I'm sure that sticks with everybody, not just the act of dying, but like we've been talking about the suffering and the pain and the bad experiences that we live through, whether it be from a previous life that we still carry memories, or in the one we're currently living in. But Dr. Stephen Greer has a movie, a documentary about it, and he talks about how we're able to communicate with aliens psychically
Hmm.
because everything is on an energy plane.
Right.
And if
Yep.
you were able to calm your mind, like we were talking about when I was, in the chat with all of my friends from that group, and then I experienced that moment where what Athena was seeing, all of a sudden I was, seeing in my head, and he explained it completely in the show, in the movie, and how you're able to do that type of thing. He's had groups of people together and everyone held hands and or made some sort of a spiritual connection with each other, similar to what you would say a seance is, but it's not
Mm,
quite that because they're actually going into a purposeful meditative state, and how they're able to actually have alien experiences in the group where we would call them a an orb, with ghost investigation, these are called alien. And these objects fly in and they actually interact with you. They've been able to catch full body apparitions behind people standing, doing, like there was one man that was nearly deaf and he was taking part in this, circle, communicative circle, psychic circle, and they have pictures of a being standing behind him, and it was obviously the aliens known for their healing powers. I mean, it's standing there. There's no way anybody could say it's not standing there.
Yeah.
And it actually touches him and heals him. He goes to bed that night after that experience, incredible experience. He woke up the next day and he had forgotten his hearing aids by the bed. And he could hear everybody fine.
Yep.
Wow.
And Dr. Greer said he came around the corner and he looked and he said the man was sitting there crying.
Aww.
And he said, "Why are you crying?" He said, "I'm just so happy." And he explained how he was healed.
Well, that, what you're describing, Mike also gets into a little bit in his book.
That's what aliens. I was thinking too.
And he also had experienced this with shadow people, and everyone interprets shadow people differently. But his interpretation of shadow people is that they were actually an alien form, some other intelligent lives that walk amongst us. We just don't see them or pay attention to them. So I find this whole thing like I'm new to the UFO world. I've always believed in them, but I find this discussion really, really intriguing to me because it makes so much sense. If there are intelligent life out there, I feel like they're probably a little bit more technology advanced than we are, and they visit us all the time just to check in on us. Like, let's see what these dumb humans are doing now.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see if we can help these dum-dums out because they're not taking care of the planet.
I think it's funny.
That's exactly
I think it's funny now. I think it's funny now. The government's now finally coming around and saying, "Oh yeah, we've caught this on film." Like y'all knew about it since the 30s,
right?
But that CE5, yes, I think if you go to Amazon Prime, if you have that,
yes, I watched it last night.
Yeah, it is
3 times.
It's so good. Yeah, I watched it like 5.
I had to keep watching it.
What is it
called
again?
CE5. CE5. It's
CE5.
close to
And guess who just popped up? Lala Bright just popped up.
Hi, Lala.
Yes, she's a Lala. She's a Lala. She's a psychic. She's a psychic.
She's a Lala.
She's a Lala.
She's like us.
She's a wonderful alien psychic. Yes, and I was just thinking about her, and there she is. Thank you so much for joining us, Lala.
Yeah.
Pardon my kookiness.
Yeah, Lee, I'm actually a member of CE5 because, our good friend Ken Johnson, who runs the scare team here in Alabama, got me into it. And watch the thing. It's about 2 hours long, but it explains so much, and you get to see some cool stuff that they filmed. It's like this whole group of people. There's like no race, there's no religion, there's nothing. It's just people sitting there, and they're all putting that energy out there, and they're literally communicating
all ages,
with lights,
all races.
Things.
Yes.
All ages, all races, all genders, everything, and just the commonality of that energy. They're responding. It's like very well to what's being put out. It's so cool.
Have you guys ever seen or heard him lecture Travis Walton?
Yes,
young man.
About 50 times. Yes.
His story is scary yet fascinating to me, and he's never fully recovered from that event. And if you've ever heard him speak, you can tell he's definitely a changed. I mean, I didn't know him before, but just based on interviews with his family, he's not the same person he was.
No.
So
you imagine too. All his friends were accused of actually killing this man.
Yes, and some of them moved away.
Yeah,
because they couldn't take it because people would look at him weird, like you're making this up for attention. Something I can relate to.
Travis. Travis. What was the last name?
Walton.
Yes. Okay, Travis Walton.
Yeah, he was abducted.
The movie is called Fire in the Sky.
Fire in the Sky, yeah.
And it's an excellent movie, but what happened to him is frightening, because I look at UFOs this way. To me, UFOs used to be the big scary things up in the sky. I didn't want to deal with it, so I never really investigated it, but I've come to terms with it, and I kind of feel just like humans, there's good humans who come from authentic places, who want only to be a benefit to humanity and to others. And then there's negative humans who are selfish, as we were talking about earlier, like serial killers. So what I'm sure in outer space, and there's aliens who are kind-hearted and want the best for the world, and there's other aliens who maybe not so much, because what Travis Walton went through was nothing less than torture, and he still goes through it.
This is one of the beings that was taken. There's a photo taken.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one of the celestial beings. Well, it went out, and then the picture I showed you previously, that was Demi Lovato with Dr. Greer, and one of their circle sessions. Now look at this one. This one, you just can't miss it. This is one of the look.
Wow.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
see, I
saw
like
for a second.
Dancing.
Yeah.
Come on.
He did look like he was dancing. I was like, he cut the rug.
Oh heck, I'll put it in the WhatsApp group with us, and I'll post it in our group here, our chat. But as I've been really looking into this, because I had something happen recently pertaining to UFOs, the more that I want to study, the more that I want to learn, and the more that I see that the whole thing is made a full circle back around to the Reiki training that I have, and that Blaine has. Have you studied Reiki, Lynn?
Only theoretically. Only theoretically. I've never taken a class, never done any hands-on. I've had Reiki performed on me, and it was wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
Okay, so there's I'm sorry, Linda Morrison said that Travis Moore's recent discussions, he says in hindsight, his fear prevented him from realizing they were trying to heal him.
Travis.
Isn't that something? Travis Walton.
Interesting.
Yeah, so was
his just description sounded absolutely horrifying to me, but
I know.
And if you look into other UFO abductees cases, what they go through sounds horrific, but that's a different perspective. Like, maybe they are just trying to help us, but our own human filter of fear, we're interpreting everything as negative. So,
we're being trained that.
What I see in that is like you go back to like Betty and Barney Hill that were abducted in the 60s.
Right.
And then Travis got abducted, and several other ones, they talked about was terrifying because they did experiments on them and stuff that, I mean, you think they've been around long enough to see human progression, and they don't have to do those exams anymore? They can just do it with some kind of scanner and get it over with. No, they're like using needles and sticking them in people's eyes.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the hell?
That's no bueno for me.
You got that right. I'm coming up swinging. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I'm grabbing me an alien. I'm gonna use him as a battering ram because I'm gonna start swinging one of them.
That's part of Travis. That's part of Travis's story. He wakes up in this alien ship, and an alien humanoid-like person's coming towards him, and then just leaves him. And then he's like, "I'm out of here," and he starts wandering through the ship. And he sees another one, and then they strap him down. Anything that's forced, like if you're being forced, that evokes fear and the fight or flight. So Travis fought.
Oh yeah.
So, and I would be with you, Blaine. Like, no. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm picking up one of their instruments, and I'm starting stabbing as many of them as I can.
Yes. May not be the most kindest thing for me to do, but it's survival, So, and then he wakes up. He wakes up, and he's, what the heck happened? Like a week later or something, And
Yeah.
that's another thing I found fascinating in Mike's book, how time is different. So for
Yes.
abductees, time for them they might feel like they were gone 10 minutes, an hour a day, only to come
Yeah.
back and find they've been gone weeks.
Wait,
And what
yeah.
a mind blower that'd be if you were an abductee. Like you feel like you just left for dinner, you come back, you think it's the same day. No, it's 2 weeks later. That would
And
be disturbing, to say the
yeah,
least.
actually it would, Deb. It's like, okay, you wake up 3 weeks later, you were just going to have you a nice cheeseburger for dinner. All of a sudden you get
Right,
abducted. And then when you
right,
come back, they hadn't fed you, so you're still hungry from not getting
right,
your cheeseburger when they abducted you.
right. Well, I mean,
Well,
we're making a joke out of it, but
no,
seriously,
but
that'd be really upsetting. So
well, that's
that's another thing I found fascinating in
yeah,
Mike's book is time, and how there's time
yeah,
warps for people, and how some
yeah,
people experience time differently than others. And like
yeah,
some locations
mhm,
on our planet, you
yeah,
can visit and you think you've been gone 10 minutes, and you
yeah,
lose an hour. I
yeah.
find that really interesting too. So
It's fascinating. You're right, Deb, because okay, with that loss of time, because they're more than likely pure energy forms than we
right,
are. So
right,
time really means that
Bless you,
nothing to
Ginger.
them. But
right,
you get a human being, and let's say they take them to planet X,
right,
and they think they're gone 10, 15 minutes, and they've been there for 3 years, and all of a sudden,
right,
they come back and everybody's older, except for
right.
them. It's like they didn't spend no time at all. But everybody around them's like, where the hell did you go for 3 years?
Exactly, exactly. Well, it gets into wormholes and all kinds of
Yeah.
very cerebral scientific concepts for me, and I
Hmm.
had to like really like go into my rabbit hole, so to speak, and really like, all right,
Yeah.
what does this mean exactly? What exactly is a black hole? What does it mean? And
Yeah.
it's just fascinating. There's so much to our universe that we still have no clue about. And I
Yeah.
feel like many governments do have clues, but for
Oh, they
whatever
have a lot.
reason,
They
they
do.
don't want to share it with the general public. They want to keep a bit of control over the masses.
That's, yep.
That's just disturbing
Yep.
to me. But
I know.
I just feel like there's so much out there and we don't know anything about it, or it's not being released publicly. So
Well, I know back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, the government kept it from the general populace because they thought it would create mass panic,
right,
mass hysteria, mass panic. So they held it from the American people. But most American people are smart now. They do research, they look at stuff. But somebody told me one time, well, there's no way there could be aliens. I said, okay, mathematically, think of it this way.
right,
Okay, there are trillions and trillions of different galaxies, stars. It's infinity out there. So you're telling me mathematically there's no way there's life somewhere else, and we're the only ball in this whole universe that has life. I
right.
can't. My science mind says, no, it's impossible. Straight up
Well,
impossible.
I think it's just egocentric of us to even think along those lines. Like we're
I
the
know.
only living people, we're the only intelligent life form. When, as you just said, there's millions and millions of universes out there that we don't even know about yet. So why
No,
would there not be life forms on them?
and that's what makes sense. I don't think every planet does, but I think there are other solar systems out there that have
Yeah,
Yeah.
advanced life, and there's a lot of them out there too that are on a bacterial or uh, a smaller level, smaller molecular level. But I think there is way intelligence, and they figured out how to use basically string theory, which Einstein came up with. Well, the whole universe is packed in a big string and it's packed in a ball, so everything's connected. So they could use that resource to get them to, like you said, through wormholes, uh,
right.
through time warps, all kind of stuff.
Well, again, I'm going to go back to Mike's book. He talks about the stacked time theory and
Yeah.
how all time is happening at the same time. So,
Yes,
for
it is.
example, going back to our children's past lives, that past life, according to the stacked time theory, is actually happening right now.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
just in a different dimension. And we're in
Yep.
this dimension, that lifetime's in that dimension, and the future dimension has already happened.
Yep.
And it talks about how visitors from the future have come back and
Hmm.
they've been researching. It's like, wow, this is just
Yeah,
because
exactly.
I mean, it really, I could just read about it for days and days, but I do have to function. I do have to pay bills.
Thank you.
I do have to go to the grocery store once in a while. So, but
Mm-hmm.
I get sucked into this research. It's like 5 hours
I
to talk about
know.
time warps. 5 hours have
I
gone by. I'm
know
like,
it.
what?
I know. And it's like you're looking at stuff. It just is fascinating for me because I love to learn anyway. So
Yes.
it's like historical stuff. That's historical. That's metaphysical. That's real life. And I
Right.
love reading about it and see to expand my brain because one day when they do finally show themselves for good, I want to be on the good terms where, you know, that I could just, fit right in with them.
Right. Don't use me for any scientific experiments. I'm
No,
good.
no doubt.
You don't want to use me anyway for scientific experiments.
No,
I'd be off
I
the
just
charts.
think I'd be like, y'all just practice. I mean, you better get somebody to actually mean something. I got a few politicians you can examine. I'll be glad to give them to you.
So Linda Judd posted that MUFON claims to know of 63 alien life forms. And
That's about right.
I was looking on here. I was trying to do some fact checking of my own since I have watched this, so many times now. And I've got to go back and watch it again with Matt. But oh, okay. So first thing, I want to tell you a bit more about what was said. We have a paranormal group, and one particular person said that his brother let him know the reason why he has come back to him in spirit is because of the spirits that are around David. He saw that David was open to being able to receive information. So I thought that was wonderful. He's getting some confirmations as we're watching the show because Roger is watching the show with him, and Roger is very um, interested in about how aliens communicate on the same level. Let me finish what I was saying earlier. Sorry, I had to run away real quick. I heard a baby crying, and they were leaving, and they had to say goodbye to Grandma. So
Aw.
I had to just say I'll be right back and put everything on quiet and everything. Turn my camera off. Sorry about that. It is Labor Day, so
Yes,
Hey,
yes.
yeah. So
me and Deb took care of it.
I knew you
Yes.
would. Okay, so he's letting us know that I hate this filter thingy. Let's see if I can. It's gonna come back there. You saw it for just a second,
Yes.
but it's a K2 meter beside the photo of his brother, and it is reacting to the show as
Wow.
we're talking. So we do have paranormal listeners and viewers. Linda Judd also says so far, mediums who can see, hear, and speak with non embodied spirits are the only ones who are aware enough to protect themselves.
Yep.
Well, sometimes we are.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just go in guns blazing and think nothing can bother me, and stuff does happen. That was me in my younger years. So,
Yeah.
but since then, I protect myself.
Yeah, me too. Also, there's statements like we're all are trying to promote love and kindness, and even people that are not from this planet.
Right,
If
right.
they are as evolved as what we seem to see, I feel like it would be very important for us to be able to communicate well. So I do think that it would be very healthy if you have some psychic ability to understand how these interdimensional beings, not just through spacecraft in the sky, but they can actually astral as well to you in
Mhm.
your location, and that can be captured on camera.
Mhm.
So those of you that are ghost hunting and you're killing orbs, well, the truth is it might not be a spirit, it might be an alien. Just saying.
I've actually been on a case where I spent the night in this young man's room because he would hear things in his closet and the typical haunting. But I
See?
spent the night in there, and there was no spirit there, but I heard it. Like, it was very audible, and I tuned in. It was not from this world. This was like maybe 15 years ago. And this is again before I started exploring UFOs. And I'm just now starting to really look into it. But for me, as a psychic, I'm like, wait, how can it be intelligent, but not have been human? It's not negative. It's not from, it's not from negative side. So it was really hard for me to wrap my head. All I could tell Jamie is it feels like an alien. And he's stuck here, and he's stuck in our dimension. He doesn't know how to get out. So yeah, I think that this is really interesting.
And Linda just, somebody just yelled, "Roll Tide, Blaine."
Thanks, David.
Yeah. Okay. So Linda actually brought this up. I was just about to say it because I'm trying to pedal ahead to where you guys are since I had to step away. But basically, the intention that you have when you're communicating, that is the exact same principle of Reiki when you are setting the intention to do energy work on someone, and Creator says, yes, you can communicate. Basically, what it says is they feel your intention, both human spirits and the interdimensional. So it's important to be pure of heart and keep that in mind during your communication. And that's when they feel that, from what I understand, these aliens, especially the ones that are very um, evolved, very high, high thinkers that have the ability to heal and things like that, they want to keep their anonymity right now because there's just a lot of things going on. There's a lot going on the planet right now. But honestly, I feel like aliens would be one thing that would be very helpful to us. Very helpful. I mean, we're talking about nuclear this and that. We're talking about Ukraine and Russia. We're talking about things happening in Africa. We've been told recently that every American in Haiti needs to leave now. I mean, we're looking at COVID coming, making another round. I mean, there's just too many things happening.
Do you think, Lee? Do you think, Lee, that because all this is happening in the world, the UFO phenomenon is really taking off? I mean,
yes, I do.
I feel intuitively that aliens are making themselves known to us just like spirits do. Letting us know that they are real, they are here to help, they are very concerned for humanity. They don't want to see us self-implode, which that could happen if we don't get our stuff together. Sorry, Scott.
You can say the word shit on our show.
I said shoot.
Did you say shit? Our show is uncensored.
It is, but I've said shoot'ems before on here.
I sort of say, something that sounds like it, but shh. But anyway, so I just feel like they're here to let. I mean, there's got to be a correlation between all of a sudden our governments are releasing that yes, we do have UFOs, like duh, and all the sightings.
Why all of a sudden we have a space force now that we've never had?
Right.
And so that tells me that the government knows, and I think they've known for a long time, that, hey, we're already in federations with a lot of alien entities.
Right.
As a point, and I know like the reptilian type are the one that a lot of them that are coming to our aid are keeping the lizard people away from us, because they are really the bad ones. Their whole philosophy is to take over the planet, take all its resources, and just burn it to the ground. Now, the other ones are there to stop them from doing it. And I do believe we still have a few reptilians in captivity. And who knows, we might have a few walking around that they just hadn't discovered yet. And actually, what you were talking about earlier about the shit word, it's actually not a bad word. It is actually an acronym for ship transit.
Ship high in transit.
It is.
I will let everyone know when I cuss in front of them that I'm actually just.
Well, let me tell you the story how it happened. Right during the Civil War, both the northern and southern boats used cow manure to fuel their ships with. Okay,
right.
Well, and they'd have it down the lower part of the ship. When they get hit in the methane gas that built up from all the cow manure, it would blow their ships up. So they started moving it up higher in the boat, and it smelled. Of course, it's going to smell like shit,
Right.
So
Right.
they would literally put burlap tarp over the top of it and write on it, "Ship High in Transit." That
And
is
then they
an
would put
actual true story.
SHIT.
Yep. So that's shortened down to shit. Ship High
Interesting.
in Transit.
That's
So,
a very
you say the word
interesting.
shit, and it's not a bad word. It's an acronym.
I will let everyone know. I'll go back to school and tell my teachers when I would
Oh,
cuss.
oh,
was
I know.
actually
yeah.
I actually told a teacher that one time. She said,
And what was the
"You're full of it." I said,
response?
"What?" And she said, "You're full of it." And I brought her where I found the information. I said, "Here, read it yourself, lady." And she just shut up and looked and turned away from me and just goes, I could see her in her breath going, "You little smart ass." I said, "Smarter than you, wasn't I?"
Yeah.
Well, it's a little history
Yes.
facts for everyone.
Hey, yeah.
So,
I was,
some UFO fans, okay? Some UFO fans are rating their favorite UFO spots, okay? More than 100,000 reported sightings of UFOs cover. Basically, that's in the past century, and it's ranged from flying saucers to colorful balls of light. And I love the ones that make the little triangles like this, and then
yes.
Right.
they'll go round and around. So, let's see, southern Colorado, St. Louis Valley is notorious for mysterious UFO sightings. From what I understand about that, there's supposed to be an underground base with a UFO in it. Um, psychics, 20 psychics noted that they saw two large vortexes at Judy's Healing Garden, whoever Judy is. And Judy does confirm her own sightings. That's interesting. Let's see. Well, there's so many more. There's here we go. It just cut off what I was looking at there, so let me get back to that. Um, Usually around there's a list of underground bases in Nevada. Uh, 82% of the area where the UFOs are being seen, there's a percent of state acreage that's federally owned, and that's where that's where the UFOs are being sighted. Utah and Alaska at 67.9, 67.2, Idaho 65, Oregon 55, California 49%, Wyoming is 49%. And all of these have a list of sightings, generally between 10 and 15 a day, are
Mm-hmm.
being communicated to MUFON. New Mexico, of course, Colorado. I just thought I'd put that out there because,
Yeah.
maybe they're just going to work. Maybe they're just all
Hey,
coming to work. We all work together.
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
Do you
maybe
guys ever
that's it.
think maybe like part of the whole alien abduction thing is that they could be impregnating some of us and
Yes.
trying to kind of
Hybrids?
form yes, hybrids,
Mm-hmm.
and that
Yes,
they've
I
been
do.
doing that for generations,
Well,
and
one
it's
of the,
actually for the benefit of
yeah,
us
yeah.
to help us evolve as a species.
Well, I know that this has got some good backing to it. That Eisenhower, when he was president, was taken off a golf course in Florida and flown to Nevada, where he had a sit down with alien beings. And the deal that
I've
they
heard about
made,
that.
Eisenhower would get some of their technology for us, but we'd have to give up so many people a year for them to, like you said, do their hybrids with, to make their hybrids, because their race is dying. So they're looking a way to save themselves. What are they doing hybrids so they still keep their DNA going? And
I got you.
yep.
That's how do you find all this information, Blaine? I mean, how did you find
Well,
that out?
I go to different sources. MUFON's a good source for those. Uh, CE5 is real good information on that. And there is a
Washington
lot of,
Post runs a lot of
yeah,
stuff that I've been
Washington
reading.
Post and New York Post runs a lot of stuff on them. It is mainstream now. So,
Yeah, there's so many things that were declassified.
yeah.
That's what I was looking at last night. A lot of declassified documents. I downloaded some. I can send you some if you're
I just find
interested.
this, yeah, I love it. I'm like you. I believe we should always continue to learn. We never should shut our
Always,
brains off,
always.
and it keeps us humble.
Yeah.
Yes.
We should always be learning. So this whole new UFO thing, it's new for me. This is,
Yeah.
let me rephrase it, not new for everyone. It's new for me because my brains have been focusing on that most of my life. My brain's been focusing on other things, but the UFO thing, it just keeps coming up over and over again,
Yep.
specifically like this year more than, and last year it's like alien, like, and finally I feel like maybe I should pay attention. So
Well, Deb, you got to figure we are um, energy beings, and
right,
energy is that's what we're picking up on. We're energy proficient, so that's why a lot of this stuff it makes sense to us because it is. We're basically what I was trying to say is we're energy workers because that's
right,
what we use to see our spirits and see everything else. We rely on the energy around us to tell us stuff and to show us stuff. So
right.
Okay, so I just found an article to collaborate. So if anybody's watching that's interested in what Blaine was just talking about, it is in the Washington Post, and it's "Democracy Dies in the Darkness" is what the article is, by Peter Carlson, Carlson, and he explains that on February the 20th, 1954, Dwight Eisenhower, our president at that time, it said that he was on a vacation in Palm Springs, and then it went on to say that he was at the dentist, when in reality he was meeting with two extraterrestrials. They nicknamed them the Nordics because they were
mhm.
very pale. They had clear lips, see through lips. And they agreed to help us um, with the understanding that they would help us deal with the um, nuclear arms that we had on our planet because they were afraid we were going to blow ourselves up. End of story. So then later he met with aliens they called the Greys. The Nordics were really something else. They communicated telepathically, and it was as if you were hearing a person, but they're not speaking, is the
Mm-hmm.
way it was described. And they offered to share their superior technology and their spiritual wisdom with the president and the United States. Well, not just United States, I would assume the world, but it may have just stayed with us. Who knows? Uh, to eliminate America's nuclear weapons. Okay. Later on, it goes on to say that he met with terrestrials known as the Greys, and he allowed them to capture earthling cattle and humans for medical experiments, providing they return the humans safely home. And
Mm.
since then, the Greys have been known to kidnap millions of humans. And it goes on talking about the book A Hero's Journey Toward a Second American Century, talking about ETs and exopolitics, where politics are wrapped into the world of the extraterrestrial presence. And that's something that Dr. Greer gets into, explaining that a lot of the movies showing aliens as vicious and wanting to eat everybody up and do whatever, because you could just look at Independence Day and
Right,
Men in Black and all that stuff. You see, aliens depicted as huge roaches that are almost indestructible, things like that. And it's the way that it was presented in Dr. Greer's movie is, hey, this is to make you automatically afraid.
right.
And there was a political agenda to that.
Mhm.
Even and it's even alluded to. You've promised me you'll watch the movie somehow. If I have to do something and to help you get there, but but the way it's described is they're actually trying to goose it all along,
Hmm.
making everybody afraid of it. So as this thing starts to unveil itself, because when Obama was in office, Russia said, if you don't tell what you know about, UFO and aliens, we will. That's what Russia said. And of course, Obama, ignored it. But then USO documents and video footage was released where you can see UFOs going down into the ocean, coming back out. You can see some type of being in the water. There's footage, and just there's just all that was put out at that time. Of course, no press, so nobody paid attention. And then as things got really
Hmm.
bad for us recently, then some things were released, and of course, what we saw on television, like Blaine was talking about, Congress, all these things that were brought out. So, there's more coming.
Right.
And Dr. Stephen Greer is doing his very best to bring everything mainstream. He knows he's got severe survivor's guilt. He
Mm.
just breaks down on the movie. So many
Wow.
people that he was serving with either were killed, assassinated, all kinds of things to that. They don't take the camera off of him, but they give him a second to kind of get himself in check and calm
Yeah.
down, and then he goes back. But I think there's a lot we need to learn, and not just communicating with spirits within our realm here or within a few realms close to us. I feel like we need to open up our minds if we're learning to do this. We need to open our minds to what really it means to have an interdimensional experience.
Yeah.
No
Well,
doubt.
if you believe in the paranormal, if you believe in ghosts, why would you not believe in this?
Thank you.
Because,
Yep.
I
Exactly.
mean, seriously, a decade or two ago, you didn't see. People just didn't talk. Like when I grew up, we didn't talk about psychics or ghosts. It just wasn't part of the cultural norm.
Sure.
So in 20 years, 30 years, we've come a long way.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So if you're a ghost hunter or whatever, you have to also open your mind up to think, well, this is a very real at very
Yes.
least, that this is a
Yeah.
very real possibility.
I
So,
Well,
mean, hell, the word itself, paranormal, means not of normal. Okay.
not
correct.
abnormal. That's where I live. That's
I
that's
know.
my
That's
address.
why.
Not
You know,
normal, Lee?
yeah. Yeah.
Your
Not normal
address
at
is
all.
not normal, Lee.
Not
Okay.
normal. That's it. My
No. I don't
address.
want to be normal.
I'm
No,
looking.
normal's boring.
No, I
I'm
want to. I
looking.
like being a freak. I love being a freak. It's a blessing and a great thing.
I'm looking behind me at my bookshelf. There's a book by Russell Targ, Targ, and
Targ.
you need to write that down because this one will blow your mind, no doubt. Michael's is
Targ.
fantastic.
All right.
Michael's is fantastic. This guy is a physicist, okay? And his goal is to go about proving ESP, of which he's done. And he has been able to take some declassified experiments um, from NASA's programs. Now, why would NASA spend millions of dollars learning how to remote view?
For
Because
war.
it's well
That
that and prevention of war, and to find
Mhm.
certain things like weapons caches, and you're right. It's
Well,
mainly for war, but
it's
yeah,
it's
Well,
to spy,
yeah.
basically.
to spy, absolutely. But if we are dealing with extraterrestrials that have the ability to astral project to the point of actually being able to register on ghost hunting equipment,
Mm-hmm.
then hey, we can do that too.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
So that's and there was a time when it was in the 80s, and the American embassy in Iran was overcome. That's right, declassified gateway project. We got some people really paying attention to what we're
Oh
talking
yeah,
about
they are.
tonight. They're finishing our sentences and starting our conversations. They're fantastic. But there was a bunch of terrorists that went charging in there and took over our embassy over there, a bunch of Americans there. And, it was horrible. And we didn't know how many Americans were there, how many people were capturing them, what the heck did they want. or are
Right.
people being even fed? You know,
Right.
what's going on? Or is there anybody injured? And so psychics were gathered together. I think there were like 60. No, it was 100 something, like 120.
Yeah.
And then out of that, 66 people that are psychics all had the same. I'm sorry, I'm wiggling. So all had the same information, and that's when they started pulling it together. And that's the first time the government utilized psychic ability to create military tactics and create
Interesting.
yes, that's the first time it happened. Now we all know World War II had some things go on. I think the whole goat project where they were
Yeah.
doing these things to these
Right.
goats.
Right. That's a
It's
funny movie,
horrible.
by the way, with George Clooney.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
feeding goats. So okay, there is an app also for the Dr. Stephen Greer's
The CE5 app.
project, the CE5 app, and it does help you communicate. Sort of like a ghost app.
Yeah.
Very much like a ghost app. There's different frequencies. There's different. I think there's scanners that are. I don't have it downloaded, so I'm not sure. HemiSync. Okay, thank you. That's what it's called. HemiSync. So I really feel like I have a new passion.
I know.
Well, it's at the very least intriguing. I mean,
Yes.
I think it's mind blowing for many of us, just to even wrap our heads around that there's other life forms out there. I think as humans we tend to compartmentalize certain things that we find too disturbing. So for
Mhm.
me, I had compartmentalized that in my brain, like, oh, I believe in him, but I don't want to deal with it.
That's where I was too. Yeah, they're there, but that's not my forte. But then
Exactly.
again, on the flips, I'm just going into the other room since the children have gone. Um, now that I understand the communication, I understand the what their intention is. That had to
Yeah.
be taken care of right away because I definitely didn't like the sound of any of it at first. The whole
Yeah.
graze, no, I wasn't getting any of that, and I couldn't understand it for that matter.
Well, honestly, I don't relish the idea of, for example, of one of my kids being sucked up in in a
No.
spaceship for scientific experiments. Just like I wouldn't want my child abducted off the street. To me, it's the same thing.
It
Yeah.
You're
is.
taking something from me, and you do not have my
Yeah.
permission.
Exactly.
So it's still equally disturbing to me, even though I feel that it's for our benefit, mutual benefits. But to me, it's still you're abducting someone that don't
Yeah.
Yeah.
just don't.
Just don't, yeah. Now, Linda Todd just brought up something interesting. If you know how ham radio operators have to be on the same radio frequency in order to
Mm-hmm.
tune into each other, that's how we have to be with spirits, and that is also how
Yes.
it works with aliens. But they have a tendency to be a little more. They have more of a larger receiving frequency than we do.
Hmm.
At least that's
Interesting.
what Dr. Greer said. And
Yeah.
everything he's ever said has panned out. He was talking
Yeah.
about USOs and then finally all that was released. He's so smart. And Russell Targ is in the movie with Dr.
Yeah, he
Stephen
is.
Greer.
Yeah, he is.
Well, I mean, not to sound like a smart ass or anything, but haven't you guys ever walked down the street and again, sounds like I'm being really selfish, or I don't know what the correct word is, but like you look at someone and you think you're not from here. Like just their
Oh,
whole
all the time.
Yes.
overall
All the time.
the
Yes.
All the
physical,
time.
not just the physical traits, but just their general aura feels like,
Yes.
dude,
Yes.
what planet are you from? Because you're not from here. I mean,
No. No.
it's just a
And
strange feeling you get. Like I've
ah,
seen people, I walk down the street and I think, and I have to do like a quick like double take and try to get my brain to tune into what I'm experiencing, because I see spirits in 3D form just like you and
yeah.
Lee here. So I have to like think, wait, is that a spirit from her? Is that making you do that? But it's just weird because I feel like I've seen hybrids or aliens,
Oh,
because you just look at me and think, yeah, there's something not right.
the worst ones, the ones you'll look at, and they'll blink their outer eyelids, and you'll see their eyelids inside go open and close. That's
Oh
freaky as hell.
yes.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate that.
Yeah. And I see them all the time. It's like, okay, you're not being mean. I see it every time I go in a crowd. It's like, okay,
Yeah, it's
you're not
freaky.
human. You're
Yeah.
not human. What the hell are you? You know?
Like, I wonder if like they train them like this is what humans do. They walk like this. They tell jokes. I mean, because sometimes I see people who feel to me intuitively like they had to rehearse how to behave in public.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they have studied our mannerisms,
like when they laugh, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
No one goes ha ha ha, but I've seen people do that. Like, dude, what's your deal?
I was like, what are you? I'm going to ask several people like they say, okay, where are you from? And what the hell are you? Because
I'm from what's that Saturday Night Live skit with Gilda Radner, and they say we are from France. The Coneheads. The Coneheads. It's like I'm thinking of the Coneheads right now.
Yeah,
we are from France.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really and people don't believe me when I see these people, and it's like, okay, that's creepy as hell. I just watched him blink with his regular eye, and it's inside eyelids that aren't supposed to be there blinked out.
That's creepy.
Have you guys? Do you remember seeing Close Encounters?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, sorry. I was just going to ask if you guys had ever watched back in the day Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes. Yes.
Well, apparently part of that is real.
What?
Yeah, it's depicted in the movie, but it's based on a true story of one of the scientists actually gave a copy. Let me see if I can look this thing up so I can be exact. What's that, Matt? Majestic 12, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Third Kind Truth. The real story, Close Encounter. This is at the, I'm looking at this at the richlandlibrary.com. And there's another one here, the School Library Journal. If it'll open. Okay, so here's the real Close Encounters, even though it was put together by Steven Spielberg. We know it's a sci-fi classic. In the summer of 1966, a real life occurrence happened. UFO sightings in Michigan is actually what happened. And what they showed you as far as not necessarily that Devil's Tower, but something similar to that. I can't remember exactly where it was. It doesn't say on here. But it's based on a true story.
Interesting. Huh.
Mm-hmm. Based on a true story.
Well, that should have been made public because that would have made the movie even more interesting to go see.
No doubt.
Yeah.
It was still good to begin with, but now
I want to see it. I want to go to a drive-in movie and see it.
Hey, that's how I actually saw it. Actually,
me too.
I did see a drive-in
No
movie.
way.
Yeah, I'm from the drive-in movie generation.
Yeah, me too.
I kind of feel like that's something that should come back because that's the whole cultural phenomenon. Like, I don't think today's generation understands how much fun that was as a kid because you get to the drive-in, your parents station wagon, they bring sleeping bags, you bring your own popcorn because you don't have to pay to have popcorn at the concession stand. Right. And you lay your sleeping bags on top of your station wagon in your pajamas, eating your homemade popcorn. I mean, it's just a whole cultural thing. And like they have playgrounds there, you play in your pajamas. It's just something that has gone by the wayside. I think it's kind of a shame.
Yep, Deb, I've got 3 sets of stitches from playing on the playground at the drive-in.
Oh my gosh!
The swings going up.
I never missed a movie. I had blood all over me, but I never missed a movie.
Good. There's just something really cool about that. It's just like that's a whole thing that today's generation just doesn't get to experience. Like it was like a whole party with a lot of people, strangers, but you're all there for this common thing. And people,
and it was so fun.
It was a blast, but I don't think
If
they
you had a
get it
station
there.
wagon, you had your station wagon turned backwards, and your
Oh
mom and
yeah,
dad would have like have those
yes,
old
I
lawn chairs
loved.
up to the side, and I still got a
Yes.
couple of those things, so we're good. And then, like you said, you'd have your own popcorn. My mom would
yes,
make like, her own candy things. There'd be like brownies
yes.
in there. There'd be like M&Ms or whatever, and she'd have that, and she'd have a little. I remember those styrofoam cooler, and it'd have Coca-Cola in it. It'd have
It's
couple of
like
waters.
it's like the
But
one
Nothing but
night.
glass. No
It's like
glass.
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like the one night that in the summer that like all the rules of like you can't have all that in one sitting, you'll get sick. It's like,
well,
oh no, you can have Coke, popcorn, whatever, brownies, homemade cookies. While you
Christopher
watch
Jack.
movies till
yeah.
2 a.m.
What was always cool is you always got more than one movie too, because they'd have
Oh
a
yeah,
movie
double
come on,
feature.
then
Yeah,
you'd have your main theater. I mean, and then sometimes they replay a whole different movie on the third time. Like you said, you leave at like 2 o'clock in the
right,
morning.
Yeah, they'd have
But
the
yeah,
kids' movies first, so they
right,
would
yeah,
watch it and go to sleep.
the
And then
sleep. Yep.
afterwards, it would be, parent stuff, usually like a scary movie or
right,
something
Yeah,
like
I
right.
that.
like those. I miss those.
You remember 'em? Okay. I remember going to see one that was, like a Disney movie, and I had so much fun, and then I woke
Yes.
up and, I was like, "Wow, the
I
suns
was
are
watching
gone."
adult movies sometimes if it was just a horror movie.
Yeah, that's so much fun. Uh, Blaine, when you come here, maybe I'll take you to the drive-in because we have 2. One is
Oh,
literally 2 miles from the house, and the
oh
other one's
shoot.
about 30 minutes away, and they do triple features, and they
Oh, you
have
still have
the
drive-ins?
yes, and we
Ah,
have the best,
Yeah.
a bacon cheeseburger you ever had.
Oh,
Oh,
now
Matt
my
does
mother-in-law.
this, Matt does
Yeah,
this, and it's as tall as his hand, like that.
whoa.
Because
and then
it's got a patty and then the bacon
yeah.
and then another patty and the bacon and the
Oh
lettuce
my
and
God,
cheese.
I gotta come down there.
Come on, sweetie, come on.
How
Everybody,
Yeah. So
how
you
far
know,
is it a drive down there? Because I would have to take the bus.
I don't know. We'll have to figure it out, but man, it's great. Tabitha Meadows in our chat says she has drive-ins in Goochland, Virginia.
But
yeah, there's a lot on the East Coast still, and my mother-in-law lives in Illinois, and a little town called Chatham, right next to Springfield. They have a triple drive-in in the same
we
spot.
have one
So
in
yeah,
Orville where
it's almost like a
Barbecue
ball
down
field. You
the
got
way.
separated, but you got what one movie playing this screen, one movie playing on the middle screen, one playing on the outside screen, and it's still $5 a carload. They will let you bring they will let you bring anything you want in there. If you want to bring your cooler full of beer, you can bring a cooler full of beer. If you want to put out your own little grill and cook burgers, they don't care. It's
Oh,
they
that's
don't.
That's how
wonderful.
it is at our local one too.
It was. We don't allow that here anymore because one child fell over a grill and there was some, the child got burned and then it was hot coals and stuff like that. So they had to put out cones and all of that. So now they don't do it. But no
Yeah.
glass, no hot thing. But here's the thing: when you can get fried Oreos and fried Twinkies
What? What?
and
What?
double bacon cheeseburgers, like I said, you have to just kind of bite around it once. Just even you can't get the whole bite
Oh,
in your mouth. It's
If
crazy.
they have that kind of concessions, why would you bring your own barbecue?
That's an excellent point.
Good
Excellent
point,
point.
big guy.
Just leave the barbecue at home.
there
I
was
love
some
Let
it.
them
people.
cook for you.
There's some people on a budget. That $5 might have cost them, some of their
Yes.
food money for that week. So they bring food with them,
Boy,
and,
Do
and
you
they're
guys
just like being cheap. I always brought my own stuff too.
do you
I
guys
did too.
remember when you were in high school and
boy.
like all your friends would get together and you would like hide a couple of people in the back seat because it would be like
Always,
$5 a car.
always,
And then
always.
you pull in park, and all of a sudden it's like a clown car,
Clown
and
car.
you see people get out, and like 10 people get out of the backseat of the car, like
Yes.
what? But we did the same thing. Like we would
Oh, everybody did that, I think.
like throw a blanket over people, and the bot like they'd be down where your feet are, throw a blanket over them, and like also the car parks and 8 people pop out of the back. It's
Yep.
just fun. Part
I know you
review.
can put about 9 people in the back of a pickup truck.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Yes.
can bring the whole crew along. You can bring a
You
van
always did.
or a
What we
bus
did,
here,
Uh,
just park
listen to
it,
what,
and have a good time.
yeah, what we did, we got a blow up, it's not a mattress, it's a blow up sofa.
Oh, we used to have one of those too.
Yeah, and it flips down and can make a bed. So we would take Matthew's dually and we would blow up that and we'd park it kind of sideways. So we were sitting on the blow up sofa and we got blankets pulled over us
yep.
and everybody's got a, Coke or Sprite or whatever. And somebody bites a bullet and goes get get in line and we text them our order, you know.
Oh, jeez.
The last time I went, I just brought a tray because I knew I was going to drop something. So I
Smart.
Smart.
just brought a tray and I brought it all back out. It was so much fun. And oh, Linda wants to know, do they have truckload prices? I wonder if that's they'd
Well,
probably do it for pretty cheap.
It's just $5 a vehicle. Unless you brought like a semi truck, they probably charge you more for that one. But
Yeah.
usually, like a truck or a station wagon or a regular car, they charge like $5 a carload or $5 a head. I know they changed toward the end of they were charging 5 a head, which still wasn't that bad. But
Well, for
Yeah,
those
We
of
maybe.
just
you,
realized. Did you realize how far off we got off the subject? We started going
I
down memory
know.
lane and
But
talking
can
about
you
drive-ins.
imagine being at a drive-in movie, eating your cheeseburger or whatever, maybe watching a cool movie, and you just kind of sitting there and you look up and there's a beautiful UFO going, but you just
Yep.
sailing way up high. I mean,
Ah.
I would be in heaven. I
Sitting there
watched the
watching the
last
movie with
three.
you.
Yeah, yes. I would just drink my drink, watching the UFOs do circulars up there. Um,
You hear
I think
the aliens going, stop, dude. They're playing ET. Turn around. Let's go.
he's my cousin, I swear. Oh
Oh.
Lord. You know what? That would be kind of a neat way to how could we do that? With a I'm going ET and turning the drive-in into a way to communicate with aliens in my mind with
Get a
music
big
and lights.
spotlight. Big spotlight.
SC5.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it would be a
That's where
great
you use the
landing
SC5.
strip.
Yeah.
Linda said the same thing. It'd be great to see them land in the middle of the drive-in. Give us some, rides, and we'll come back for the second feature.
Well,
You can sit with
No,
us.
we want to see it from the spaceship. Take us on the spaceship. We don't want the movie from there.
but
Yeah,
bring me
Linda's.
back. But bring me
Yeah,
back in
just
my
bring me back.
time.
I just want to go
Yeah, really.
go for a ride. Linda said, "Use your telepathy. Call them down."
Yeah.
Okay, so
Linda,
I gotta be honest. Gotta be honest. I was in an investigation with their class, okay? And David Campione, he was on the show for a while with us, Blaine.
yeah.
And so I'm looking up and we're seeing this little UFO buzzing around up there doing these little curly cues and everything. I was like, okay. David Campione said this is how you do this. And so I tried and it did come above the treetop there. I've got to send you that footage, Blaine, if you're interested in seeing
Oh,
it.
hell yeah.
Because I didn't know what to do. I swear I was running in place. I wanted to go, but I wanted to stay. I swear I was running in place. I was Scooby Dooing that thing. I was really oh Lord. I was. I know I was because I said, where did it go? And
I don't know. You are so much more brave than me about stuff like that.
I don't know.
I would just be like, I'd like to see it, but don't
Hey, look.
abduct me because
Look,
I'll
here's Lee.
flip
Here's
out.
Lee. Look.
That's me, I swear. I was so brave and I wanted to do it so badly. And then when I did it, I was like, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. And I'm looking up, where did it go? And it's come around behind me and you can see it over my head. And I'm like, oh
Mm.
God.
No, thank you. No, no, no. I'm not that into it yet.
Oh, Dr. Greer said this. Lasers, those pointer lasers.
Yeah.
If you see one, apparently the technology that's on these UFOs are so strong that they can pick up if you are, pinpointing them with the laser.
Yep.
Well, I
Well,
don't
there's
have
nothing
any
to
of
stop
this.
it.
Yeah, I will not be using one of those. I just
Well,
want to study them. I don't really want to see them just yet.
but what Carol Garcia is saying here is that it helps when you're with a group to point them out in the sky. But being that there's nothing there to stop the laser, it just continues on. So how far does
Mhm.
it go?
Right.
Not just good for cats. See?
Yeah.
Excellent point.
Oh.
Excellent point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody in chat have a question for our dear friend Deb? She's the mother of some beautifully gifted children, and she dealt with that. And she'll have grandchildren. She'll be dealing with that as well.
Someday.
Yes, someday it's coming. It's coming.
Speaking of, my son's wife
Oh.
sent me some pictures. She has an app, and the app takes the picture of the couple and makes a baby, like what your baby's gonna look like.
Oh,
I'm like, and she sent it to me as a joke, and I was like, oh, I love it. Send me more. Send me more. She's like, calm down. I mean, I live for that. I really do.
Oh
So
yeah.
oh, honey, yes.
I've got 8 pictures of possible grandchildren I could have someday. I'm
Oh
like, and I
my
almost
goodness.
printed them off and hung them up on a wall, like someday. But
Yes, that's where
no
I'm at.
rush, no rush, no
I
rush.
want that one and that one and that one.
Yes. Oh, I told her, I said, I'll take one of those. I'll take 2 of
Yeah.
those.
Well, you know what's
You're gonna
funny,
have
Deb,
so much fun.
is back in the day when we were both on Zig Talk Radio, you and Nick used to do a show there, and
Yes.
I had a show there called Ghost Mafia. And that's how I remember Nick, because he was like we both started probably about 14, 15 years old or something.
Yes.
And,
Yes. He was in,
then
yeah, he was
I
in 8th
remember
grade.
you were like all sad because, yeah, I remember you were all sad when he started to go to college. Like, my baby's going away. I said, he's going to be a
Yes.
man. You said something to me like, but it's my child. I'm like, I understand. I sent
Yes.
mine to college already.
I know. It's just, it's like, it's a mixed feeling because you're so proud, but at the same time,
Yeah.
like, it's like when they go to kindergarten, they're out of
Oh
your
God.
sight for so many hours a day. It's like, for me as a mom, it's total panic. Like, does he have everything he needs? Is the teacher being mean to him? Is he making friends? Like, those
Yeah.
conversations still go through my head when he went off to college, and then it went through my head when he started working.
Yeah, it
So
doesn't get any better. I know it.
you just can't
Oh,
stop being a mom, no matter what, or
hey,
father.
believe me, I know. And that's the funny thing about it. It's like when my daughter first went to kindergarten, I was a little sad about it because she's so smart anyway. It's like,
Right.
okay, I bet she wouldn't get the whole experience. She did. She lasted about halfway through kindergarten. And they promoted her into first grade. She was smarter than every kid in the
Right.
class.
Right.
And I was like, okay, now I got to watch out for these bigger kids, because she's a year younger than all of them. But yeah, she took it like a champ. Come home, made perfect. Then the day she got her scholarship, free ride to for Stanford,
That's
I was like, holy
impressive.
crap.
Isn't it
My kid's
incredible?
going to
That's
Stanford.
very
And
impressive.
And she's
she
beautiful.
graduated, and she graduated in 3 years at Stanford. That's like,
So
you
your
ain't getting
daughter
no
is
little.
really smart.
That
Like,
means she was really smart.
Yeah.
She is.
Well,
You should see
I
her.
tell you this, she is very smart. She speaks 7 languages fluently, and Latin and ancient Greek are 2 of the languages she speaks. They're both dead languages, but she knows them. My
Yeah, how does she
granddaughter
remember
knows
it?
I'm curious, what kind of prenatal vitamins did your wife take? Because I'm going to
Well, this is
suggest it to
funny.
my daughter-in-law.
What all I did with my daughter is I read to her every day when she was in the
Yeah.
womb. I talked to her every day.
In
I
the
taught her
womb.
things. Well, and then when she came out, I know she, started walking at 7 months old. She picked herself up,
What?
took the footsteps backwards. She could read her first book by the time she was 2. By the time
That's
she was 3,
unbelievable.
she could recite
Wow.
every word in every movie she watched. And don't try to skimp on her on reading a book and skip a few pages. No, she'll tell you, no, Daddy, you missed those pages. You should have told me this, and this. I mean, word for word. I'm like, jeez, I can't even fudge to get
You know what my funniest experience school-wise? And it like to killed me. I don't mean literally, but you know what I mean? Because I was such an ornery little boy.
Oh Lord, what did you do?
In 5th grade, I did not get spanked at all. It was so hard to be good. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
But I was allowed to go to the drive-in on the last day of school and watch the adult movie.
Yeah, Linda is saying to you, Blaine, that your daughter has a great memory, and she's sure it's from the reading you
God
did
to
with
share.
her.
Just because I
Penny,
went the whole school year without getting spanked.
isn't that amazing? You didn't
It
Dude,
get
was
your butt whooped.
hard.
boy, shoot, Chris, you're a slacker, man, because I had my own paddle with my own name on it. You slacked up, son.
Oh, you got spanked every
And it's,
year, didn't you, Blaine?
oh,
Y'all,
every day.
I
Dude,
didn't
if I
get
didn't get
spanked.
spanked,
You
oh,
never
because you,
got him,
I
Blaine?
know. Hey, I know Mama Judy wanted to beat you several times.
Yes, you know all about it. My mother went with me to the paranormal conference to
Were you
Alabama.
an angel or were you devious enough not to get caught?
I resemble that remark. Thank you.
I was
Well,
not that smart to avoid getting caught
oh,
at
I can get
school.
away with it, but I just had a lot of snitches that got me in trouble.
Yeah,
So,
I know that feeling too. Okay, so Chris Garcia is asking Deb, do your children journal their dreams?
They used to when they were younger. My son still journals. I mean, he's a producer. He produces music videos here in Nashville, but
right on.
he
He's
his main
beautiful, guys. He's just gorgeous.
but his real passion has always been writing, and he's an excellent. In fact, his sophomore year of college, he wrote a book and had it published. It's called The Hauntings and Folklore of Athens, Ohio. So where his
Nice.
college is really a paranormal hotspot. So his passion is writing, but his career is in production of music videos. So he just did one for oh gosh, I'm not familiar with music country people as much as other people, but he just did one for what's Faith Hill's husband's name again?
Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw. He
Tim
just did
McGraw.
one with Tim McGraw and Luke Bryant. My husband was a
Love
stand-in.
him.
So I mean, Nick gets to meet all kinds of wonderful people. So I think it's a career for him. He likes to travel, so he travels a lot for his job.
Right on.
So
Love
Right
Luke
on.
Bryan. Yep. He's
And,
a
and, and
you're
the lovely
you got
thing
a
about
handsome
Nashville,
son.
yeah.
I'm
See,
sorry,
you
what's
go
that, Blaine?
I said, well, it's cool now. It's like Nashville is not all country. You see a lot of
No, no, it really
rock
isn't.
stars move to Nashville area now. Let's see, all the members of Aerosmith have houses in Murfreesboro. Let's see,
Yep,
Vince
that's where
Neil
we
has a
are.
house there. Alice Cooper has a house there. It's like
Well,
every
Robert,
major
my
artist, and
all-time
then you
favorite
got country
band,
artists. You got rock. Yeah.
Led Zeppelin. Robert Plant
Oh,
lives 20 minutes from
yeah.
us,
Yeah, he
and,
does.
and he lives and he just goes out in public like no big deal. Lots of people
Yeah.
do. I think that's the thing that makes
Yeah.
the greater Nashville area unique. Like there's so much talent here, so many famous
Oh,
people,
yeah.
but I think the general public respects them enough. You never rush
Yeah.
them or hoard them or ask them for an autograph
No,
because you
it's
don't
like
want them to leave. You want them to make
no.
this their home.
Yeah, because they're putting money back in your economy. So I just,
Exactly.
if I see them, I'll acknowledge them in my head. It's like, hey, that's so and so. Oh, cool.
Right.
I don't get starstruck. I guess because when I was
Well, honestly,
stationed out in
I wouldn't
California,
recognize him anyway. I mean, it's one thing we see him on stage performing
yeah,
versus bumping to him in the street because
yeah,
you're not prepared to run into Robert Plant shopping for potatoes in the grocery store. So
no, they just think it's another old long-haired old man out there getting some groceries.
exactly. Yep.
But yeah, when I lived in California, stationed out there, it's like one of my best buddies. He worked at a radio station. Well, they own like 12 different radio stations. He worked at the countryside, but they had like 5 rock stations. They had a rhythm and blues station, all kind of stuff. And they get all these like free concert stuff. And he called me and said, "Hey, Blaine, I got backstage pass and see so and so." Okay, cool. We go back there. It's like half the time, even though he worked at a country station, he didn't know a lot of the country artists. So I get
Yeah.
to go with him, introduce him, like, "Hey, man, this is Hank," or "Hey, dude, this is Merle Tillis. Oh, okay, this is so and so." "Oh, how do you know all these people?" And the funniest one, I'm related to the guys in Alabama. Uh, 3 of them I'm related to, like third cousin was. And he called me to the radio station. "Hey, I want you to meet these guys." I walked in and Randy always goes, "Hey, Blaine, how's your mama doing?" my,
I
my
bet your
buddies
guy
looked
just
at me and
about
goes,
fell off his chair.
he fell off his chair. He's like, "How do you know them?" Let's see. Randy's mama and my grandmother are first cousins, and Teddy's his first cousin, and the other one, the drummer's the only one that wasn't from Alabama. He was from his dad was my commanding officer at Norton Air Force Base, which is funny.
That's wild.
Now, I don't get starstruck. It's like, "Hey, how you doing, man?" If they come up and talk to me, I'll talk back. Hell, I had a beer with Rusty Gibbons from ZZ Top in the Memphis airport. I'm just sitting there having a beer, and he comes say, "You mind if I sit down?" I said, "Go ahead, man." And then we just started talking about music, and I was like, I knew who he was. I think he was waiting for me to freak out because he's sitting next to me. I'm like, "Hey,
I think
how
it's
you doing,
better
buddy?"
to remain calm because
Yeah,
I
and
think
I
they're
just
so
sit there.
used to people fanning, attacking them with.
Dude, we just sat there and we drank 2 beers together. I ordered him a beer. He ordered me a beer back. And we sat there and just shot the shit and had a great time. He said, "All right, buddy." He said,
You
"All
know
right, buddy,
what,
I got
Blaine? You're the
to get
only
up a
person I've ever met who uses that term "shot the shit." I used to say it all the time, and I thought I can't say that so much because people look at me. I cuss horribly, and I'm trying to break myself of that habit because some people really do get offended. So
Well,
I used to say that term. Oh, I just shot the shit. Blah blah blah. Blah.
just shoot the shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a normal term to us. And you can say anywhere in the South, everybody knows what you're talking about.
Yes.
Now we were just shooting the shit over yonder, and they're like, "I know exactly what you're talking about."
I'm getting used to the terminology down here. I'm
Yeah,
a
you'll pick up a
transplant.
lot of it.
I'm a
Hey, that's a
transplant,
lot
but
of.
we
Hey, my
love the
wife's a
South.
transplant. Oh yeah. It's a
We've been
Ohio
vacationing in the
skinny
South
term,
my
doesn't it?
whole life.
Yeah. I know I got to get up to y'all's way because I'm only like about maybe 4 hours from you, straight up 65. So.
Yep, 65.
All right. Thank you. We've got some folks saying that they've got to run real quick. So, Chris, thank you for being with us and thanks for contributing. All right. So, we've got a couple other
Thank
people doing the same. I did have someone pop up and they wanted to know more about um, do you feel that your son understands how journaling his dreams may have affected his ability to write because he's got vivid dreams and trying to portray them in words might not have been so easy. It was a good challenge for a child.
Well, he didn't really journal his dreams as much as he just journaled.
Oh, okay.
We talked about his dreams more than him writing them down, but he would occasionally write, something prolific that happened in a dream. But it was more he just would journal his thoughts. And I always encourage my kids to journal their thoughts. It's a good outlet for you as you enter
Oh
your
my God.
preteen and
Is
teen
it ever?
years,
Yes.
just to get it physically out of your system. There's something very cathartic about that. By
Yeah.
writing it down, it feels
Well-
like a release. So my kids
Deb,
have always kept journals.
Now, Deb, one of the things about being an empath, and we wrote it in our book, is that kids that have gifts are going to have other gifts as well. They might be very talented at writing. They might be playing musical instruments, or they might be real good at solving puzzles. But that is just another relief for us.
Right.
That just goes along with par for the course. So, but yeah, I've noticed a lot of children, like my granddaughter, she has the gifts that we do, and now she's learning how to use them. And let me tell you, that kid, her and her mom are so creative, and just stuff they do. They like to draw. Penny likes to make jewelry. She makes some of the most beautiful jewelry. She's 15 years old. I mean, it looks like somebody that worked in a New York diamond exchange for the last 15, 20 years, making jewelry.
Wow.
Jeez. Yeah.
Well, I think it's important for every child to have some sort of creative outlet outside of school, outside of sports, that's uniquely their own.
Sure. And
because
something they can do, like you said, okay, do you like doing puzzles? Do puzzles. If you like doing quizzes or Sudoku, whatever floats your boat,
Right.
It expands your learning process. Exactly. So that's
Right.
what that will do.
Well, I think a big part of learning is opening yourself up to be creative, using your
Thank
imagination. I
you.
think that's really critical, especially for young
Yep.
children, to be able to use their imagination.
Boy,
Yeah.
I agreed there. Very much so.
Yep.
Um, we're going to start kind of buttoning it up. We've got 5
Yeah.
minutes left. So, I wanted to just jump in. This is a complete change of topic, but I want to bring more information about holistic medicines, as well as basically it's a learning opportunity. There's a lot of things that you can do to change your diet or change just what you eat in general if you're having problems. The feature tonight, I'm just going to keep this quick. I'm not going to go into a lot, but this is corn silk. Okay. Since corn is going to be very popular coming into September and going into October, corn silk, which, you pull the green leaves off and there's like hair, right? And
Right.
Mhm.
you take that off and you get the corn. Well, the corn silk is used as a medicine. Indigenous people use corn silk for bladder infections,
Really?
inflammation of the urinary
Wow.
system. Yes, let me say this again: inflammation of the urinary system,
Hmm.
inflammation of the prostate, kidney
Wow.
stones, and bedwetting. And it's also used to treat congestive heart failure, high blood pressure, fatigue, and high cholesterol. Only thing you have to do is put 1 tablespoon of corn silk to a cup of boiling water. And what I do is I put the corn husk in there and I usually chop it. Sometimes I put it in one of those little stainless steel little kebab
Hmm.
looking, not a little, looks like a little oyster, when it's on a
Yeah, I know
string.
what you're talking about.
Okay, so
Think
you put that
a
in there and then you put
T-ball.
boiling water. Yeah, however, yeah, that's it. Okay, so put a cup of boiling water over it and let it steep, which is usually, like putting the top on it, just letting it sit. And then you can strain it off. In my case, I don't have to do that. And you can drink that 3 to 4 times a day. And
Really?
honestly, I'm always looking for ways to help with diabetes.
Wow.
Yes, yes, yes. A way to do, yeah, Linda said T Bob. You guys had my back. I appreciate it. Um, what I like about it, number one, it's natural. It doesn't require a prescription. What happens if you can't get your medicine? So by all means, when you shuck your corn, hang on to the silk, and
I'll
you
do
could
that.
easily make a tincture if you want to. The way you do that is make a tea that's super concentrated, pour some vodka on top of it, or you could do anything like that that preserves it, and then you make a tincture, just a little dropper.
Wow.
Yep. So it's super easy. And I just thought I would throw that out there. I hope that you guys are gonna like that I'm gonna do this. I'm just
I
trying to
like that.
Yeah,
Well, considering
I
all
truly
these years
believe
now, I've
that
just been throwing that shit away. Damn, Lee.
Yeah,
You
I
told me
know
a
it.
long time ago.
I truly believe that nature provides all the
Oh,
cures that we need. We just have to learn,
yeah.
more like we have to relearn things our
Yes.
ancestors used to know.
I totally
Yes.
agree. Okay, so I do want to kind of read you this little proverb, and then I'll do our blessing. Deb, is there any way people can reach out to you if they have questions or comments? I know Richard Johnson said, "Hey, Mama."
Oh my gosh, I haven't seen Richard in almost 15 years.
Wow.
Oh,
That was my very first convention. Nick was in high school, and I met him
Yeah.
in Pensacola, Florida. What a wonderful human being he is. Very kind,
Oh, wow.
really kind man.
oh.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lee. I just had a
Okay.
trip down memory lane.
So just reach out to you on Facebook. Is that
Oh,
right?
okay. Yeah, Facebook's fine. My email address is yourspiritbeacon.com.
Love it.
But Facebook is probably the easiest one to reach me on.
Your soul is so ancient and yet so
Yeah.
peaceful and
Well,
Hmm.
thank you.
nurturing. I can
Thank
see
you.
that you are a lot of love to a lot of people. I
I
appreciate you being my friend.
I appreciate you
Yep.
being in
Me
my
too.
life, and I appreciate Blaine coming in my life through you. I really have
Yeah,
enjoyed these little chats. But when
I bet.
I meditate every morning, and I always
Right
put
on.
out love for everyone, regardless of
Right
how
on.
they treat me. that's irrelevant. We need to send out healing to everyone. So
Yes, we do.
Yep.
So, with that in mind, this is my proverb. Everything on earth is borrowed. There is no mine or yours. There's only ours. Even time is borrowed. We kill over a plot of land that belongs only to our Mother Earth. All you have is what you came with and what you will leave with, your spirit.
yes.
Okay. And then the next one our blessing is honor the sacred, honor the earth our mother, honor the elders, honor all who with whom we share the earth. Four-legged, two-legged, winged ones, swimmers, crawlers, plants and rocks. Walk in the balance and the beauty. Thank you for listening to Family Spirit International.
Spirit.